Someone's yelling at their cat down there.
Oh man, Marbles, come home.
Marbles is a really good name.
I know, I just thought of it.
Hey everyone, we're here in Sedona, Arizona for the 2020 Pinkbike field trip. I'm James Huang, Global Tech Editor for sister publication Cycling Tips. We are here with Mike Casimir and Mike Levy, and we are talking about bikes in the under $3,000 category. The Commencal Meta TR, Santa Cruz Hightower, and the YT Jeffsy. And then we also have one hardtail, Norco Torrent. Guys, what do you think of these bikes?
They're all pretty solid options for under $3,000. There's not one that stands out as being not worth buying.
Yeah, I think with the less expensive category, the $2,000 and under bikes, there were some surprises there. But here, $3,000, all of these bikes should work really well, and I mean, they do.
So what was your favorite then?
So I think out of the four, I would probably lean towards the Commencal Meta. That one, I just seemed to gel most on that bike. The geometry worked best for me. It felt the most solid to me as well too. Yeah, you can get 2 bottles on it. You know how I feel about that.
Wouldn't it be better if you had 3?
It always would be better. Yeah, or 4.
If only you could make a bike that had 4.
Yeah, if only.
If only.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same page. It's weird we kind of agreeing on a few too many things for my liking in this.
That's weird, I know.
Yeah, but yeah, the Commencal stood out for me too. Just a solid little tank of a bike. You know, it's 130 mils to travel, but it feels like more than that. But it pedals well, climbs well, everything that you want it to do, and the price is pretty fair too. So.
Geometry was pretty solid then?
Yep, felt, you know, all the bikes in this category, these 4 bikes, well, excluding the Torrent, that's a little bit of an outlier, but they all, yeah, all those numbers kind of around the same range. So it's more about how the bike actually feels in the trail. Commencal felt nice and solid, and I liked it.
So which one was your least favorite of the bunch?
It's really a hard call. Like if they're all 4 lined up, I could grab any one and be happy. I think here in Sedona, the Torrent would be the one that I'd be least likely to grab, just because it's a hardtail, long slack hardtail. Here, the trail riding tends to have a lot of kind of up and down and zigging and zagging, so that bike just felt like a lot of bike.
Not that the Torrent isn't as good as the other bikes, it's a slacker, heavier, longer bike. It's a 480 mil reach with a 64-degree head angle.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was a ground-hugging hardtail, this is it. And it's going to be great in a lot of places. It just happens to not be great in this particular setting. Yeah, I think I'd agree with Casimir on that. Look at that, Casimir agreed.
Yeah, and that Torrent does have the best fork and the best brakes out of all the bikes on test. The drivetrain's GX drivetrain, so that gives you, it's a little nicer, more refined than the SX and NX drivetrain.
SK tires.
Yeah, so there is that to consider. You know, it's a way, you will be riding a hardtail, so that's not for everybody. But if you're into hardtails, you can look at that range of bikes and you can save a lot of money by going that route.
Yeah, you wouldn't pick the Norco, I mean, just because you get more parts for it. You pick the Norco because you want a hardtail, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, how noticeable are all those differences though?
The brakes and the fork, yes.
Right, because you got a Lyric Ultimate and the codes on the Norco, and
Yeah, so it's noticeable. You know, on most of these bikes, the fork and the brakes are parts that are worth upgrading at some point. And so having the, you know, kind of basically the nicest stuff out there in the Torrent, it does remind you that there is a difference.
Well, at this price point, I mean, you are getting a lot, but you're still giving up some. Were there any bikes on this group that, you know, you would be happy to take home, but maybe would want to upgrade some stuff on later?
Yeah, so most of these trail bikes, they have 2 piston brakes, which make a lot of sense for a trail bike. You can't really fault them for that, especially the ones with the big rotors. But I think for people who live in places with a lot of elevation loss real quickly, like Casimir and I in BC, we climb up something and then we go all the way straight down. It might be worth some more powerful 4-piston brakes, or as a minimum, larger rotors.
Yeah, but they do have larger rotors. Like the Commencal and the Jeffsy both come with a 200 millimeter front rotor, which is nice to see. But it is that Commencal in particular that has the level T brakes, and those are 2-piston. Actually, the Jeffsy is less expensive by around $400 than the Commencal, and it comes with those guide 4-piston brakes, which is nice. So, but for me, I like the Commencal the most, but I would upgrade the brakes.
What about value? I mean, 2 of these bikes, again, are direct to consumer, just like we had in the $2,000 budget category. And then the other 2 are you know, regular brick and mortar bike shop bikes. I mean, is there anything you have to think about there?
Yeah, of course you're going to have to think about service. Like if you're buying something mail order, it gets delivered to you, you're going to have to build it, you might have to look after it. But a lot of these shops now are focusing on service more than sales. So I think there's a lot less stigma now. Like you can go into a shop with a mail order bike, you know, if you can save, how can you fault somebody for wanting to save, $500, $600, even $1,000 and still have a bike that they want to ride hard.
In the $2,000 category, we were saying that if you can manage to spend just a few $100s more, you'd get a lot more bike. Is that still the case here?
I think it becomes a little bit less important that you consider doing upgrades on these bikes. And they kind of segregated these bikes into the $2,000 and $3,000 category. Just it's kind of a natural line to kind of develop. And there's a pretty big difference. And it turns out in this category, $3,000 category, that's where there's less that needs to be upgraded. Just kind of you're ready to go right out of the box, and you don't need to think about swapping out parts right away. And out of all these 4 bikes, I'd say that YT Jeffsy offers the best value. I mean, $2,300, that's hard to beat. It has nothing that needs to be upgraded right away, works well. That's kind of a testament to what you can get when you go that direct-to-consumer route.
$2,300. Like, go back 5 years and look what you would get for $2,300. And I know everything has moved on and everything is better now, but that's ridiculous. Like, you could buy that Jeffsy or the Commencal and just ride the piss out of it for years and replace tires and brake pads, and as things wear out and you break them, you don't need, $5,000, $6,000 bike. I don't think I'd be any faster, to be honest with you, on a more expensive bike on a lot of this downhill stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, you save a little bit of weight and some of the parts make you feel a little bit
Whatever.
better, but in terms of overall performance, you're saying there's really not that much to
Yeah,
gain.
the geo is the most important thing, and the geometry is there.
All right, there are our thoughts on the $3,000 value bike category at the 2020 Pinkbike Field Trip here in Sedona, Arizona. If you want to hear more, make sure you hit subscribe. And if you're curious about gravel bikes, you can check out the Cycling Tips field test that we also did here in Sedona over this last week.